I guess we can start the session for today now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you once again for being here, dedicating your time to this workshop. You may already know me. My name is Vartuhi, and I am the Business Counseling Manager at PACE Business Department Center. You may know the PACE. PACE is a nonprofit community development organization. We are celebrating our 50 years of service this year. We have different programs within the organization. It includes early childhood education, workforce development, energy efficiency, business development, and many more other services. Through our Business Development Center, we support entrepreneurs across Southern California by offering business counseling, procurement assistance, and access to capital. PACE operates 2 BusinessSource Centers of like 10 BusinessSource Centers within the city of Los Angeles. Those 2 centers are Pico-Union Westlake and Hollywood Center. But again, our services is not limited to the city of Los Angeles. We serve the clients within the LA County and even the neighboring counties. We are an SBA micro lender, EDA, and iBank lender, as well as a certified CDFI. So today's workshop is an extension. We had 2 series workshops with BMO Bank. So today is the second session. So BMO Bank is one of the largest banks in North America. Into 2023, it expanded in California by buying Bank of the West. Now BMO serves people and businesses across the state, offering personal banking, business loans, and other financial services. We discussed last week about the grant opportunity, which we will discuss more. Today, we will touch it more. I will share the flyer with you. Today, we have Angel Pastrana, Senior Regional Strategist with us from BMO. And again, same like we will continue our discussion in regards of this important topic of finance and how small business owners should navigate the world of financing with confidence. As always, we will have Q&A session at the end, but we thought that it would be more interactive, much better if we have an interactive session. So feel free to send your questions and we will try to address it at this moment. If you have a question and you want to ask your question, feel free to raise your hand. We will unmute you and then you can ask your question. So we want this session will be more, interactive. So feel free to ask your questions. There is nothing more that I want to share. I want to turn it over to Angel to introduce himself and kick off the workshop. So let's get it started. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you so much, Vartuhi. And again, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you guys. Again, thank you for the time, the space as well. But like Vartuhi mentioned, I would like to make it a little bit interactive if you guys are okay with it. If you guys are shy, you can always, raise your hand. You can come off mute then with Vartuhi's help and ask your question in between as I go through the slides. Or you can also wait till the end or just put your question in the chat box. And Vartuhi, you can just let me know if there's questions popping in. We can answer them as we go along as well. So on the last session, you guys were with my partner and colleague here, Daniel Rodriguez, which is also on the call right now, and you guys touched on demystifying the lending process. So for today on this second session, we're going to be discussing understanding small business financing options. So if I'm going to share my screen with you all now here, and if Vartuhi, you can give me a thumbs up when you guys can see my screen, that'd be great.
Yes.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So this is what we're going to be touching on today. But first, I just wanted to introduce myself to you all. So again, my name is Angel Pastrana. I'm a senior regional strategist here at BMO, specifically speaking for our Zero Barriers to Business program. I'm sure that you guys learned a little bit about it through Daniel's conversation last time, but I'll just quickly go on it. So we are a special purpose credit program where we support 7 different minority groups. Women-owned business, Black-owned business, Hispanic and Latino-owned business, Asian-owned business, Native American, veteran, and LGBTQ+-owned businesses. With what I do, I have a coverage of Mountain region, Northern California and Southern California, For a visual, that's 7 states. So from Wyoming down to California, with the exception of Nevada, Arizona, and Colorado and New Mexico there. I've worked very closely with Pace for the last couple of months since I've been enrolled here. I myself came to BMO in October of 2023, so I will hit my 2-year mark pretty soon. Very excited for that. Formally on that, I've been in banking for over a decade. I believe I started in as a teller back in 2013 in the city of Lincoln Heights. There was a in-store Wells Fargo branch inside of a Smart and Finals. So that's kind of where everything started for me, and from there progressed to what I'm doing here now. So going to and my information is there. So if anybody, if you guys need to contact me at any time, it's there. It will be shared later on with you guys as well in the chat. So to get started here with the understanding different financing options that you guys have. So first thing is, how will each of your businesses use credits? So this is a very important thing to understand, is the ways that your business can use credit and what credit is used for. So a loan purpose helps determine the best financing option. So, you can be a startup, so you may need a startup loan. So acquire a premise, inventory, software, working capital. So that could be a line of credit there for you as well. So satisfying operating costs, cash flow backups, and payroll. I always like to throw that one in there as well. There's growth and expansion. And, for that one, it comes down to products and services, funds upgraded, and things of that sort, or a big major purchase. So knowing when you will use your funds may help guide you onto which type of credit you ultimately get to select. And this also comes down to, and it's funny, I just had this conversation yesterday. This right here helps you understand where in the business life cycle your business lies. There's 4 stages to it. Are you in the startup stage, growth, expansion, or the transitional stage as well? So on this next slide here, we're going to be learning about the different types of credit that businesses use. So, there's 2 types of main forms of financing for business. So we have short-term financing, which you can see on the left-hand side here. So that involves money that's being borrowed for immediate or short-term business needs, and it's usually repaid within a month or less time. So these funds make it easier for you and your business to manage day-to-day financing needs, pay some bills, maintain some cash flow. Short-term financing options include business lines of credit and business credit cards. The difference there really for the credit cards is some of them have rewards. The lines of credit do not come with rewards. That's one of the major things. Lines of credit are typically best used when you have, like I mentioned earlier, cash flow gaps. So if you have a contract with the city or some procurement that you gain, and let's just say the city or whoever's paying you their net 30, you're asking for net 30, but they're like, hey, we're net 90. So they're gonna hold that money for 90 days after your services have been done. So this is a way that you can fulfill that need of the cash flow gap that you have yourself. Whereas a credit card, it's something that has to take place right away for you. For long-term financing, that is debt that is usually paid back in more than a year. Long-term debt is often used to finance assets, such as a building, a new piece of equipment, or a computer system. Some examples of long-term financing options include term loans, real estate loans, or vehicle or equipment financing. So when, as your business is growing, this is something that we deal with often as well. It's very similar to, I always like to relate it to the personal end. So if you think about it as a personal level, usually the first thing that you do when you're growing up is get a credit card. Maybe the second thing you do is, as you're growing, you're getting, you have a job, you're making more money, you get a car note. Then as you continue to grow, you're looking to settle down and do more things with your life. Then you're looking at a mortgage. So that's kind of a way for your business to think about it that way as well too. Is like there's stages to it that you have to go through one before you can get to the other as well. Now, for these options, they can also provide fixed amount of money, usually for a specific purpose. So financing is typically secured by collateral for the long term, and it's repaid in installments with a fixed interest rate that's applied. So that's another thing that's very different between the two. So short-term financing is variable. Lines of credit, they fluctuate based on the market and prime rate. Long-term financing, you're able to lock it down for the term of the loan as well. I'll pause there to see if there's any questions. I can't see if there's any hands raised, or if anybody just wants to say something.
There is no question as of now, but anyone feel free to ask question if you want to raise your hand, and I can unmute you to ask the question. By the way, just to add, I shared the information in the chat, the contact information. I shared the flyer for the grant and the link for the website. Okay.
Okay, so I'll move forward. If there's any questions about the grant, we can save those for later. But questions about what I'm presenting, we can go through them as we go along. So when it comes down to considerations and when exploring credit options, so to select the right short-term or long-term financing option, first, there's a couple things that you need to consider. The first one is, why do you need the money? Knowing how you will use the funds may guide which type of credit you select. For example, if there's loans that are designed for specifically to purchase assets, such as equipment financing. There's also real estate financing. If you happen to be a practitioner yourself, there's such thing as practice finance as well. So being able to understand the different types of options that you have out there is very important. Similar to when you're shopping for a credit card. Like I currently, I love traveling, so I started moving all my credit cards to be no longer cashback credit cards. I'm gaining miles. So it's like understanding like what the goals are for your business is going to help you understand which one's going to be the right one for you as well. Second thing you need to consider here is how much do you need? Knowing exactly how much how much you need to borrow, so you don't take too much and incur unnecessary interest costs, is very important. Carefully researching the cost of whatever you intend to buy or do, and share that information with your lender. For example, if you need to cover 6 months of operating costs to start your business, do that math. It's very important to not go into a bank, and Daniel can vouch on this one as well. As bankers, we hear this often when customers come in. They're like, "Hey, I want to get a loan." We're like, "Great, what do you need it for?" I just want to qualify for the max amount possible. That is not the right way to approach loans, because again, you don't want to lock yourself in for something that's not going to be attainable. You want to make sure that you're able to cash flow within your business to be able to make the payments and not, put your business at risk because you took too much money out. So being able to calculate that, I will always suggest have a consultation with your accountant, your bookkeeper, CPA. Let them know, hey, we have a need. Let's just say it's an equipment that you need to purchase. And see what options are out there for you as well. And also shop around. Like don't go with the first supplier of the need that you have. Look around to see what the competition has, so you can get a competitive price and rate as well. Another thing that needs to be considered here is, what are the repayment terms? So like I mentioned right now, it's understanding that you how much you're going to borrow and how much your monthly payment's going to be, how much your interest is going to be for each month and for the year. Those are things that you need to understand. And it's the job of the lender to coach you on that, but it's also your job, and you need to do your due diligence to make sure that you comprehend it. Oftentimes it can be a different language because you don't speak finance. So it's always good to, have somebody there that can guide you on it, or just ask questions. It's okay to ask questions before you sign any loan documents as well. So again, make sure that you feel comfortable with the repayment plan before you commit to an agreement of borrowing money. This is a very big commitment, just like a home purchase. So you want to be very careful that you review the amount, the interest, the payment amount, and the frequency of your payments as well. There's times where some payments are interest only, so you're never paying to the principal, you're only paying to the interest. So you want to make sure that you're aware of the type, like I mentioned, the type of payments that you're going to be making. And also review your obligations in case there's a default. There's always those terms and conditions in there. Make sure that you comprehend every single little thing in there. The last thing here that you need to consider is, can you afford repayment with interest? So update your cash flow forecast with monthly repayment amounts, including interest. Will your business generate enough cash to make those regular payments in addition to regular monthly operating expenses? Consider consulting with your accounting professional to review those numbers. So basically what I mentioned right now, and one thing that we have, and I can share with you all later as well, we have a forecasting tool on our website that's free for all to use. You don't need to be a BMO client. You can go in there and download it, and then you can play with it so that you can do projections for your business as well and see whether, if you have these expenses, are you able to make enough money? So those are some tools that we have here at BMO that are there for all you guys as well. And then I'll go on to the next page here. Before I do
Okay.
get started, is there anything on the questions?
Yes. The first question is Teodoro asked, what is practice finance? You said it was credit for practitioners. Can you explain on that?
Yeah, so many different lenders, different banks, they call it different things, but there's a particular line of business and products that are specific for practitioners. So if you're a doctor, a dentist, veterinarian, psychologist, there's practice finance out there that's available. That's specific for those that are in that industry, in the healthcare industry. So if you happen to follow within there, connect with either your bank or reach out to us, and we can connect you with either our practice finance team, or you can reach out to your financial institution to see if they have a practice finance team as well.
Just to clarify on that part, are there different, like different industry segments that, they fall in that category? You gave the healthcare business. So I would guess that there are different industries. And once the business approach, then you will check and you will see if that category is available. Correct?
Correct. Yeah. So the majority of them fall under the same bucket. It's just that practice finance, it's a very niche industry, so they do things a little bit different to cater to those practitioners as well. And most of the time, it's very big loans that come their way. So like startup loans, to purchase a practice. So most of the time they go through SBA. So that's why they have that. There's an entire team that's dedicated to only working with those that are doctors.
Yeah, and the like follow-up question is are those products that you are offering for practice finance, are they more competitive, better rates, longer terms? What is it that makes it different?
What makes it different is that these are experts within the healthcare industry that are doing the lending. So they understand the ins and outs, the types of financing that is going to be needed and such.
Okay.
So there's no additional, they don't get additional benefits that other industries don't get. There's none of that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's that they're being paired up with professionals within the lending industry that
Mhm.
that have been in that industry themselves before and comprehend it.
Okay.
Similar to nonprofits, there's a whole team for nonprofits as well because they're very different than regular for-profit businesses. They operate very differently, so that's the reason why they're separated.
Good. There is another question. It is about a 504 loan, commercial loan. And the question is, can it be a construction loan on a property I own in my LLC? Not a TI, but demo and new construction. And the follow-up question, let me see, and she asked, what is the interest currently on $1 million loan for 504, which I don't know if you can answer that question or not, because it depends on different factors, I would guess. But
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, but what about
So
the question? I'm a little bit, can it be a construction loan on a property I own? So can it be for 504? Can it be a construction loan?
so it depends on, and like I don't do loans myself anymore. I'm a strategist for the bank, but from my past experience And I would say consult with your particular banker. If you want to connect with BMO, we can connect you with somebody in those teams. But there is a way that you can go about it. It might have to be structured as a 7A. Who knows? But it's really having to have that conversation and break everything down to really comprehend everything. I won't be able to just answer that based on the data that's given to me right now. And as far as, but you have the options, the 504, 7A, you can even go with the SBA contingencies as well. It just really depends on sitting down with your banker and having a deep conversation to really understand what the needs are, so that they can give you the right recommendation for that. As far as the
Exactly.
rates, I can't share rates because rates are forever changing, and it really depends on where you are looking to do the loan as well. It also varies on how you qualify for the loan yourself. We have to run your credit. Every bank is going to run your credit, so there's different tiers to it as well. So you need to connect with you can either connect with us, so we can point you in the right direction and pair you up with somebody that can help you with that loan, or again, like if you want to reach out to your own personal banker, they can guide you on that as well.
Okay. Sonia, I hope this answered your question. But again, if there is anything more, you can, toward the end, we can address the question again.
All right. So moving on to the next slide here. So for short-term financing options, so these are the three that we have here. So a credit card operates just as a personal credit card, but often has a higher limit. It's very conventional or inconvenient to charge smaller purchases such as office supplies, telephone bills, online application subscriptions, if you're driving around a lot for gasoline as well. It's fairly easy to obtain compared to other forms of credit. The benefits of a business credit card often include and helps you separate your personal and business expenses as well. So you're also able to set up employees with their own cards with preset limits. So they have like a monthly expenditure that they have. That way you're able to track how much money is being spent and on what as well. And this is going to help you, spend money responsibly as well. And it's going to help build up the business credit scores as well. The drawbacks from them is some of them do include annual fees and high interest rates, like I mentioned. The second type of short-term financing that we have here is a business line of credit. It's a fixable loan, allowing a business to borrow up to a preset amount of money. Interest is charged only on the amount borrowed, and funds are transferred to your bank account when needed. So it's essentially it creates a different bank account if you look at your online banking, and you're able to move the accounts back and forth as well. So it's like, and this is for short-term cash flow needs, such as meeting your payroll needs, if you're waiting for accounts receivable, if you have some some of those things there as well. Some of the disadvantages to a line of credit include that the requirements to have good credit and cash flow. So as I mentioned earlier, you need to be able to sustain the loan amount so that you can borrow on it as well. Collateral may be requested by the lender as well for lines of credit. The more you borrow, the more stake that the bank is going to ask for you to have in there as well. Our third one here that we have is overdraft protection. And this covers transactions made on your checking account when there aren't sufficient funds, like bill payments. So going back to what I mentioned earlier, like that's what a line of credit is for as well. When you're waiting on accounts receivable, oftentimes if you don't have a line of credit, your second backup option is the overdraft protection. It works very similar to it, but it's specific to cover your overdrafts. So if you have an overdraft protection, it's always recommended that you also do have a line of credit. That way you can use the line of credit first before you do the overdraft protection, or vice versa. Use the overdraft protection and then pay it back with your line of credit while you wait on those funds to hit the account. All right, so moving on.
Can I question before you
Yeah.
move? On this line of credit, I would like to know if a business owner get a line of credit, but they don't use it, is there any limit or any penalty if you have a line of credit and you don't use it?
Right. That's a really good question to ask. So there's no penalty for not using it. So the difference, like I mentioned earlier, so the term loan, and I'll go over it right now too, is a lump sum. So here's a bunch of money, payments start next month. With the line of credit, it's just sitting there like a savings account, and you just borrow it when you need it. If you have it there and you don't touch it the entire year, you don't have to worry about any penalties. The only thing is that lines of credit do come with the annual fee. Usually the annual fees are around $250. So that's something that you're gonna have to pay whether you use it or you don't. But there's no penalties on using it. Um, a way to think about it is like a HELOC for a mortgage. Usually HELOCs are like a 10-year term, and then after that you have to renew it. Some lines of credit are the same way. Some are 5 years, some are 10 years, some are 7. Specifically speaking, for our Zero Barriers to Business program, ours is revolving, so it's forever there. You just pay the annual fee every year. So
Thank you.
in short, no penalties if you don't use it. You just have to pay the annual fee.
Good.
So for the term loans here, so for larger amounts that are required longer term financing, businesses typically apply for term loans, which is credit given on a lump sum, like I mentioned, that must be paid back over a specific period. So borrowers agree to pay their lenders a fixed amount over a certain repayment schedule with either a fixed or floating interest rate. So that's very important too. When you're looking to borrow money on a long term, always ask, is it fixed or floating interest rate? You always want to make sure that you are aware of that one, because if it's floating, it can fluctuate for you as well. So you always want to be able to lock it in at the lowest possible. Similar to during COVID, when a lot of people were able to lock in a mortgage at what, 2.75%, 3%. So those are the golden gooses right there that you want to shoot for. So businesses may also apply for loans specific to the assets that they need to purchase, such as equipment financing, which is used to purchase equipment, like I mentioned. So there's practice finance, equipment financing, or commercial real estate loans, which are used for purchasing land or property. If an asset is expected to be purchased, it may be used as collateral for the loan as well. So some of the benefits that come with long-term financing, it may be assisted by the federal, state, or local small business loan programs, such as the SBA. Make it possible to expand your business, allow businesses to retain capital for emergencies as well. Meaning that you're also able to do like a cash out refi on a property if you already own your property outright as well. Some of the drawbacks that come with long-term financing, so eligibility requirements may be a little bit higher than for credit cards. You may require a down payment. You may be subject to strict terms and restrictions as well. So going back to the suggestions earlier, is always make sure that you read the packet, the contract that you're going to sign. You can always request it ahead of time, so you review it by yourself. If you want to review it with your accountant or a lawyer that you have for your business, it's always suggested that you do so as well. Now, for this next slide here is what's best for you and your business. So again, some things to consider and keep in mind is, your financing needs will change over time. So most businesses will require capital, especially during their startup and growth phases. While many small businesses are initially funded by the entrepreneur's savings or other assets, companies will at some point apply for financing to support cash flow needs, buy equipment, or expand. So here are a few things to consider as you consider your options for short-term and long-term financing. So again, like I mentioned, what do you need the money for? So as we discussed earlier, how do you intend to use the money? Being able to have a plan, and this may dictate what your best option is going to be as well. So whether it's going to be equipment financing, it's going to be just regular loan. Do you need some real estate as well? So being able to know that and knowing how much you need to borrow. So like I mentioned earlier, in addition to repaying the borrowed amount, you may also need to pay interest and fees. So being able to provide some collateral, update your cash flow forecast. And like I mentioned, we have those tools online as well. And also consider alternative sources of funding. So you can get cash for your business needs. Consider your own savings, ask an investor, crowdsourcing, raise some money, or you can be applying for grants, government programs as well. Do your due diligence, investigate a little bit. It's all right to Google. Now we have, a lot of, there's AI, which is very helpful. So if you're familiar with it, feel free to use AI to understand the different types of programs that are out there. Try to, to find out what's available for you. Always connect with your chambers of commerce and your nonprofit partners, such as Pace LA, to see what's available to you. Oftentimes, I always go back to this. When I was in high school applying for college, my counselor told me, like, go on this website and apply for as many scholarships as you can. He said oftentimes the students are too scared, too shy to even apply, and they think, I'm never gonna get this. They apply, and it turns out that they were the only person that applied. So it's the same way, like, apply for the grants. You never know, maybe you're the only person that's applying and you're gonna automatically get it. So just connect with your nonprofits that are around you, the resources that you have as well to do that. And additionally here, build your credit scores. No matter which financing option you choose, you need to make sure that you maintain a healthy credit score for your business by repaying your obligations on time and checking your credit reports regularly. So, and this isn't just for your business, this is on your personal end too, because when you do financing with banks, you are personally guaranteeing the loans as well. Whether it's a credit card, line of credit, or a term loan, there's always a personal guarantee. So your personal credit score is always considered into it as well. With that being said, these are some of the resources that we have here. Like I mentioned, annualcreditreport.com. That's a great resource to be able to check your credit report to see whether there's any inconsistencies in there. If it looks great, I always suggest that you check that every quarter so that you know what you're doing. I do it myself even on my personal end as well. We have the SBA.gov website there as well that can help you guide and understand what the contingencies of SBA are. And it's really just a backup and more cushion for you in case of defaults as well. But with that being said, that's the end of my presentation, Bartuhi. I'll share it with you so you can share it with the team later that's participating here with us. But we'll open it up for questions. And I know that we're going to be touching on the Celebrating Women Grant program that we have as well.
Yes. Thank you so much, Angel. Okay, if anyone has any question in regards of the presentation, the material we went through, please raise your hand, ask your questions. After answering those questions, we will move forward with the, to go on the grant. And generally, we covered that last week to, what is the eligibility requirement. So we will go through that. But if you have any question in regards of the material that we went through, so please feel free to ask your question now. And Angel is there to answer all the questions. Let's see. Okay. There's a question from Lisa. She asked, how hard is to get a loan if you are just getting started as a business? Am I correct, Lisa? You wrote stated, but I think it is if you are starting your business, how hard is it to get a loan?
Yeah. So there's multiple ways to answer that question. So in the eyes of the bank, a loan, credit cards, more than welcome to apply for those, but loans, when it comes down to lines of credit and business loans, term loans, a bank will not do lending for any business under 2 years. You need to be a business in 2 years because you need to be able to provide 2 years of personal and business financials. That way the bank can understand, do you cash flow? Are you profitable enough? Do the trends make sense? Is it even responsible for you to want to borrow money? Because the one main thing is that the bank doesn't want you to default on a loan. So you want to be able to borrow responsibly. However, when you're a startup business, that's where we lean on, our CDFI partners such as Pace LA. They have different requirements, different FICO score requirements, different cash flow requirements. So connecting with your CDFI partners is going to be the best way to go about it. Or Tuhi, I don't know if you have anything to share on that.
yeah, I want to add that we, as a CDFI, we work with the startups. So for us, we it is not mandatory that a business should be there for last 2 years. Anyone who wants to start up, they can come to us for a loan. But of course, we have our underwriting criteria. We go through the underwriting. We would like to see the, if the case, looks good, and it is promising, yes, definitely we are there to help. But again, we have to go through underwriting, and if everything makes sense, the business model makes sense, and the projection, everything, then we can lend the money. There is another question, Lisa. I hope that we answered your question, but if you have any more question, you can connect with me, and definitely I can, just guide you through. There is another question asking, what types of businesses do you favor, manufacturing versus services? And do you have problem if a business changes ownership from husband to wife, if husband credit score is low and wife's credit score is high?
So there's multiple questions on that. So if there's a change in ownership, the questions that lenders are going to ask is, are you selling the business? Are you staying with the business? Because oftentimes, like, let's just say you give it to one of your kids. Are you going to stay along with the business as you transition out for like 3, 4, 5 years? Or is it going to be a startup for the person that's buying it? If it's going to be a startup, then at that point, it's considered a startup business once again, because they need to refile. They're not going to have the same EIN most likely. So it depends on how you're structuring what's happening. So there's a lot of, it's very complex. Let's just put it that way. It could be a startup, or it could be just a regular loan as well. If there's somebody with a higher credit score than the other, oftentimes what happens is that anybody that's more than 20% owner has to be a grantor on it as well. So everybody's credit score is considered.
Yes, that's very important. But like if you want to answer the question, if one is good, because Theodora clarified that, both husband and wife, they are the owners as an ownership, both names are there. But if the application can go under wife's name, and you mentioned that anyone, like any other person having 20% or more interest in the business, it should be listed, and the credit, it will be checked. They will be the guarantor. But
Yeah. So the way
how it will be, I'm sorry, how it will be if like one person has a good credit, everything is good, one is not. So how
yeah,
do
so I
you
can
have
touch
any
on that.
experience how it will affect?
Yeah, and this is just general experience. And every bank is different. Every lender is going to be different as well, because everybody has their own lending criteria. But from my experience in the past, what I've seen and I have encountered is, if somebody has really bad credit and they don't want to even apply or be a grantor on it, they can opt out. However, their percentage is deducted from the revenues. So let's just say you're 25% owner and you're like, hey, like, I had a bankruptcy, I don't want to be on this one, my wife wants to do it. We automatically deduct your percentage off the top of the business revenue and income, because your contribution can no longer be considered, because you're opting out. So that's another thing to think about, when you need to have at least 80% ownership in the guarantee as well.
Okay, so she continued. The continuation is, so husband owns 19% of business and wife owns 81%. Is this okay? So we don't, like, you don't need to ask the other partner's information, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And like I mentioned, it varies based on institution. So having that conversation with your personal banker is going to be the best way to go about it as well. And if you don't have one, contact Daniel or myself, and we can set you up with somebody.
Yeah. There is another question here. Let me see. Alfredo is asking, you spoke about personal warranty for a business loan. Do I always need to provide collateral, for example, my home?
Again, you need every loan is different. You need to see what the terms and conditions are. Oftentimes when it's a long-term, loan, yes, there is collateral, and, it could be your home. Yes.
I would say I'm speaking, from PACE perspective. If the loan goes over like 50,000 specifically, they would like to see some sort of collateral. And generally for us, collateral means property. For loans over $50,000, they are not considering cars, but like most of the case is property. If you have a property that you can pledge, I would not say it is 100% you have to have it, but that would help your case a lot. Because there are different factors that they are underwriters, they look on different factors. Collateral is one of them. Do you have that collateral, and it can give you a point. But sometimes the case is very strong that you don't have a collateral, but the case is very strong, the cash flow of the business is really good, that they may not ask for that. So there are different factors, and it can be analyzed case to case.
Correct. Yeah. And it could be as little as like your entire, like your inventory can be collateral as well.
Yes.
Your accounts receivables could be collateral. But it like Vartuhi mentioned, it depends on how your business is operating, how your interest rate is looking. There's so many different factors. A loan is very complex, and the ways that they can be structured are very different. So again, when you are ready to have that conversation, do come with all those questions to your banker so that you understand the way that they're going to structure the loan for you.
Yeah. There's another question. Lisa, you asked about alternative like financing or lending. You asked where could I find or how do I search for alternative financing? I am not sure like what you mean by alternative financing, but we like CDFIs are another way of financing. If you are new in the business and you cannot go through your bank because you don't have that 2 years of tax return, CDFIs are good alternative for you. So it would be good for you to connect with, if you have any relationship with CDFI, feel free to go to them if they have lending part. Go to them, just check with them what is their options. You are always more than welcome to check with us to see what are our options for like you. PACE has a package from $500 to $350,000. So depending on the case, again, we go through the underwriting process, but it is not that we don't do that. We do startup. So that those are options for you. And we have also, as like we ourselves, we have many other resource partners. If there is a case that we may find it difficult for us to do it, we have other partners that we go through them, we check with them to see if they are more flexible, if they can do that loan. If they can, then we refer you. We refer you to those partners and let them to work with them. I hope I was able to answer your question. Okay, so yeah, that doesn't look that we have other questions. Okay. If there is any other question, please feel free. If you want to ask your question, I can unmute you. Just raise your hand. I can unmute you. Angel, do you want to go through the grant? Just share the flyer and just
yeah, 1 second. So and I'll put it in the chat for you guys also. Let me see.
Yeah, I already also put it there, but it would be
So
nice
I'll share my screen really quickly here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just put a link in there for you all, which is where I'm gonna go right now. So website. So essentially, we launched our Celebrating Women grant. The applications opened up on the 5th of this month, so 2 days ago, and our portal is open for applications up until 8 p.m. Eastern on the 19th, so 5 p.m. our time. So you need to put in your application in there so that you go to our website here, and then you just scroll down here. So the program overview, you have questions about the eligibility. Click on there as well. It tells you everything that you need to have, and then the how to apply. So it gives you the access to the portal right there. But essentially, we have allocated $150,000 that's going to be awarded to 15 winners across the United States. Last year, I was talking about two earlier. Last year, we had about 5,200 applicants across our 32 state footprint. We had 4 winners in California, 2 in Northern California, 2 in Southern California. 2 of those 4, 2 were BMO clients, 2 were not. This year, even though the name is Celebrating Women Grant, it is available to any business owner. So prior to this year, it was available only for women-owned businesses. This year, we opened it up to all. However, your business needs to be doing something to help advance women. A good example of that is if you happen to be for-profit businesses, you need to be 2 years in business. If you already won last year, you cannot apply again this year. So we have a winner on this call. You are not eligible to apply once again.
Okay. Yeah, your voice was breaking up a little bit during the conversation. There is a question asking, is there a type of business that this grant favors?
Nope.
There is no. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So
only thing
yeah,
is
no.
that the
So
business has to show that how they are empowering women in the business. So in
correct.
their business.
Mhm. Yeah. So there's a write up. There's a video submission as well. So it's a it's you're gonna do some work to apply for this.
Yes, exactly. So you don't need to be the business owner can be anyone. You don't need to be a woman to apply for this, but the business should show that how they are empowering women in their business. That is a criteria that you should be, you should demonstrate you are doing it, and then hopefully you will be the winner.
Or 3 tabs there. Program overview. Click on that and read it thoroughly. The next one is eligibility. So all the questions that you guys are gonna have about who can apply, who cannot, are in there for you. And then the how to apply. So it gives you a step by step of everything. But again, if I encourage all you guys to apply, and then you're gonna go through it, and then on the 19th we're gonna close the portal. Winners will be announced in October. So because we're gonna get a lot of applications and they need to be reviewed as well. And like I mentioned to you, Bartuhi, you asked me this earlier, which I think is a very important question. We here at BMO are not the judges. So we don't favoritize, there's no favoritism on who gets selected. This goes to a third party. So like I mentioned to Bartuhi last year, so this year is Deloitte is going to start doing the phase out. From there, we reach out to leaders that are women within the community on the state side. Like last year, we also had the CEO of a Women Chamber of Commerce and some other influential leaders that are women themselves. They're the ones that do the final judging.
Okay. So thank you for the information. If there's any question, please feel free to ask your question. We are almost toward the end of the workshop. If there is any question about the material or this grant, please feel free to ask it.
All right. Well, I guess with that we can wrap it up. If anything, you guys have my contact information. Bartuhi, I already sent you the deck in PDF.
Okay.
That way, if anybody missed my information, it's in the chat. But you guys can also reach out to me there.
Yes, I will share it once again now, just to make sure everyone can see the contact information. You are more than welcome to connect with Angel directly. If you have any question, you can ask him. And if there is any question for me, I shared my contact information also. Please feel free to reach out and ask your questions. If there is no more question, I would say we are done for today's session. Thank you so much, Anka, for the presentation, for sharing all this information with us. I want to wish everyone a nice rest of the day.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Bartuhi, and thank you so much to Pace for welcoming me in and letting me speak to you and your audience.
No, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
You guys all have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I will send the information again. I guess yeah. Thank you. Yes, I will email the deck to you. It is not that much information because most very short, but I will send it to you. And I would think of all the information is already in regards of the grant has been shared through our marketing team. Otherwise, I will send an email with that flyer too. Okay, then. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish you all a great rest of the day. Stay safe